Thank you all for joining us today for another edition of our Lagos Living. We all know that parenting is never easy, but there's always a fulfillment we have in our heart that makes us keep going, to keep showing up for our family, our children, even for our child, for parents who have just one. But most importantly, as a mother, as a father, we also show up for ourselves, and that is one of the beauties of being a parent. Today, joining me is Rachel White. We'll be talking about motherhood, about lifestyle in general, and we all know it doesn't come easy. It's the joys of motherhood. Do sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. To kick off this episode, could you do us the honors and welcome us in your language?
Àìsàn ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Immaculate, actually YouTube channel Immaculate làwà. À ń kí yín láti YouTube channel Immaculate.
And today with me I have Rachel White. She's a mom, she's an entrepreneur, all-round superhuman.
Thank you very much for this interview.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is our Lagos Living. How did you start exercising?
Now thinking about it. Okay, before I started running, my first point of exercise was in the university playing basketball for my state, for the university I was in. That's UNAD, Ekiti State University now. I just used to come to the field to watch people play basketball, and I saw some girls and they invited me. So I wasn't really a fit person, and they just accepted me to play. So I would say maybe that's my first point of exercising. But after that, running was like my commitment to exercising. That was like the first time when I saw myself and I was like, girl, your gene is this. You have to, do this, So I just started running. So that was my first point of
Exercise. Okay, so it wasn't like you had a conversation with someone or you had thought about it before to be like, okay, I'm going to get into exercising.
No, it was just self-awareness for me.
Okay.
That I was growing up. I was past that teenage age. In fact, I was in my early 20s. And I was like, I'm also someone that likes keep looking okay, So I feel like that's just brought that mindfulness of, if you want to look like this, you have to make effort. So it was just a self conscious and awareness for me that I started doing that.
Okay. What are the benefits of exercising during pregnancy?
Benefits of exercising during pregnancy are you'll be able to maintain weight during pregnancy. Your mind becomes very free. So most times some women experience depression during pregnancy. So there's a kind of hormone that releases in your body when you exercise. So that makes you feel better and prevents depression in pregnancy, and also generally is also very good health-wise for the baby's health and the mama's health. And exercise also increases digestion in pregnancy, and that's one of the problems we as pregnant women have, indigestion. Especially when it comes, I experienced indigestion from the starting to the end. Some mothers experience it during maybe after 5 months when the baby starts getting up pressing towards their organs.
Right.
But like when you exercise, it helps you reduce indigestion and help the food just go down easily. You'll be able to fart freely, you'll be able to belch, your body will just feel light easily. So those are the benefits that I am aware of.
Okay. During pregnancy, what was the first shock you got?
Well, the first shock I got was the nausea. It just hits you like I think that I feel like that's like the first shock for everybody. So I mean I never experienced it. So like the nausea was just something different. It's
Right.
different when you have malaria nausea
Yeah.
and pregnancy nausea.
Yeah.
You know they play with pregnancy
No,
nausea. So
no.
that was my first
It comes
shock.
it
Yeah.
comes as a shock.
Yeah.
And just being sick all the time.
Yeah,
'cause-
being sick and helpless, and
Yes.
especially when you're an active person, and then you're not experiencing nausea and being feeling tired. That's I feel like for everybody or most women, some women don't experience nausea,
Yeah.
but for most women in pregnancy, and I'm one of those women, it was nausea that first slapped me in the face. Slap, big slap. So yeah.
What has been the most rewarding part of motherhood for you?
I feel like the reward. I feel like the reward is to see my child happy first, to see him in an environment where he can express himself,
Right.
and he just feels happy when he sees mama and dad, and I feel like also the family aspect of it is just so beautiful, and yeah, it's like a reward,
Yeah.
a continuous reward.
True. I
Yeah.
agree to that because it's a great impact on the child seeing the
Yeah.
parents together.
Together.
Some families don't have that, but those who do have it,
Yeah.
please cherish it, nurture it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, and the kids are downstairs
Crying
crying.
their lungs out.
Quiet now, and we will
I
move
hope
on.
so.
Oh yeah.
Maybe something is on its way here.
How do you handle unsolicited parenting advice? Because we have that a lot here.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, because I'm aware of that,
Yes.
right? I just focus on my own style of parenting. It's okay when people give you advice, but then it's okay if you want to take it, and you also know what works for you. So instead of being a yes person just to please people, you study your environment and actually see what fits for you, your family, and your child.
Right.
So because I'm always aware that people like that are common, or they're everywhere sometimes.
True.
I listen to it. Maybe because now that I'm a mother, I'm a little bit calm. But if it's if it's before you come and bring your mouth and tell me rubbish, I will change it for you. But now I know that sometimes when other people, based on their own experience, also
Yes.
they want to give you certain advice, but listen to advice, digest it, and see what actually works for you and your immediate family. And if that's what works, stick with it.
Just like what you said, it's okay to listen to advice, but sometimes I feel like most people, they have this notion that their advice is better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you don't live with me,
Yeah.
so I can't just start dishing out advices to you.
Yeah.
Have you been in a situation whereby a random person tells you what to do?
Yeah, it's when you start to, in that situation, when you start to impose your idea on me, that I can now be a bit like nasty. No, not defensive, but I'll give it to you hot hot. Of course, I've been in a situation like that before where my child was just born. There's heat outside, and you're telling me, wear cap for this boy now. Wear glove for this boy. Like inside heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the way we were brought up that
Yes.
when a newborn is born, you just feel like, okay, you should be clothing, and this child has been inside heat in your stomach for how long? You want him to come again? You understand?
Yes.
So when you try to impose your advice on me, that time that I get like, no, please, thank you. Yeah, but I've been in situations like that I just sort of ignore it. In the hospital, at the supermarket.
Oh yes.
Even close family members sometimes.
Even the banks.
Yes, banks, and like they know what's better for you.
What type of support do you find most helpful?
In terms of what?
Parenting.
Yes, that's a very, very interesting question. Um, they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's when you have a child, or when you have certain type of family, like you know that family is actually very important. It's you know, you can't trade family for anything. And the type of support that I like is when my immediate family can also help me teach my child. You know, we all have a general knowledge on how we want to raise this child, you know, and then everybody's bringing their own best to it, you know. It's not like they're trying to bring you down how your own parenting style. Instead of that, whatever they can offer, maybe some quality time with your child so that you can get some sleep, or you can, you know, go out and make your hair or something. Like teaching, because my son is homeschooled right now, he's not going to school. I have my younger brother teaching phonics, you know, different things, writing, you know, showing him what to do and not what to do when you're around people, you know, all this kind of things. So, and my husband also has his own, you know, time with him, you know, he has his nanny, you know. So, as a mother, you don't feel that tight. You have your own some time to yourself also to do some other things that you enjoy doing besides spending time with your child. So those are the kind of supports that I like and that I'm getting, and I'm so grateful to God for that I have.
That's amazing.
Thank
because
you.
some parents, some mothers do not have time for themselves.
Yeah.
It's like the only time they get is when the child is in school, when the child is asleep, or when the child is just somewhere in the house. You know, it's always 24/7 parenting, mom care.
Just the mom.
Yes, just
You
the
know,
mom.
it's always very
And sorry,
exhausting for the
and
mom.
yes, very exhausted. And it's I think it's something most people don't talk about, because
Yeah.
there's this, I don't know if it's like a societal thing
Or a
where,
stigma.
yes, they make people make you feel like, why you no go care for your pikin? Why should other people do it? There's absolutely nothing wrong in asking for help or even receiving help.
Yes.
You know, like now you have your brother homeschooling your child. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You have your husband there, you have your nanny, and the child also sees you, because whether we like it or not, we are the sole
First point of contact. Whatever, if he has his dad, his uncle, and his nanny, I'm the first point of contact when it comes to my child. You
Yes,
understand? So,
absolutely.
and it's also great. That's why we're not even rushing him to be in school yet, because he has this great support system where he can do this, have a time with uncle for school, have a time with dada for like fun stuff, cars, you know, toys, have a time with auntie, you know, and then have a lot of time with mama where I just scream at him to stop. Don't do that. Don't touch that. Mama, I want to sit on your lap. Oh, Mama, can I touch your hair? Oh, can I do this?
That is true. That is so true. Like it never stops. The whole correcting, the love, and that's an amazing developmental skill the child is having right now, and that's great. How did you stay active during your pregnancy?
Well, naturally, I'm an active person. But for the first, normally for my first trimester, and every pregnancy is different. Like right now, I'm pregnant. My first pregnancy, the nausea still allowed me to exercise a little bit. This is the second one. The nausea didn't allow me. So it's a different pregnancy, you know. You see some moms from day one, they are fire for fire, they're like
Yes.
out there. And then as it is for you as different pregnancies, is it even it's different for other women as well.
True.
So just because you're an active person does not mean that other people are not active too, but then the thing will hold them differently.
Oh, yes.
You get so for me, how I stay active is when I feel like that nausea has left me, I would, try as much as possible to move my body around because my first pregnancy taught me a lesson. When you are complaining and not doing anything about it, that's when depression comes. So if you notice that something makes you feel a type of way, go out, do stuff. I have, accepted that go out, do stuff. So
Right.
just to answer your question smoothly now, because I feel like I'm beating around, which I make sure that I go to the gym.
Okay.
I'm also a yoga teacher, so I go to the gym. I teach yoga. I also practice yoga myself. I go to the beach. I walk to the beach. I walk my dog and my son.
Awesome.
So like walking, enjoying some swimming at the beach or the pool, a bit of strength training at the gym, teaching yoga and practicing yoga myself, and also being available when my friends invite me out.
Oh, yes.
Do you understand?
Oh, yes. Yes, girl. Did I not say to you guys that this is an all-out superhuman?
Yeah, like, come, this pregnancy cannot just come and put me in depression. Do you understand? Because you're pregnant does not mean you should just. I know that it does not work for some people like that.
Yes.
So, pregnancy brings some kind of illness that you do not even know you had before. And
Yes.
then it just comes and there's nothing you can do about it. The doctor will put you on a compulsory rest. You understand? But for me, it's different for me. My body is different. And I'm even I'm changing the thoughts in my head that this thing has to be positive. When it can be positive, it can be. So I just put that positive energy also and be there when my friends invite me to go out and it's comfortable for my family. Do my yoga, teach yoga, swim, go for walks. That's how I stay active.
Positive affirmations with being intentional. That would actually go a long way for you.
Yeah.
How do you fit exercise to your daily routines as a mother?
I fit exercise to my daily routine so much that sometimes when I don't have time for exercise, I'm like, this is a time for you to just rest and relax.
Do you actually rest?
I do.
Like just to rest and be like, today I am resting.
Like this is if you're inviting me for an interview today, thank you for doing that because I'm like Bebeluno would have just be at the gym in my house doing this, doing that, or just call a friend and say, "Are you going to the gym today?" Pick me up. So my brain is so conscious of involving fitness into my pregnancy so much that even the days that I don't get to do it, I'm like, this is the universe telling you to sit your ass down.
So basically, this is a lifestyle for you.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle for me, and I love it.
How did you cope with sleep deprivation during your pregnancy and after you had your newborn?
Yeah, does that happen to everyone?
Yes, I feel like it does because me, I used to wake up at night and I'll be crying.
Okay, I thought I was weird one. No, like gosh, it's even worse when you have a child. Like, okay, it's that time that your sleep is now coming, that the child wants something and you cannot sleep. So, like, during my pregnancy, that happened for me. It always happened for me during the first trimester.
Okay.
Like, in the ninth, I can't sleep, so I'm deprived of sleep, and sometimes, even for now, even while I want to sleep, the time that I want to now sleep, my toddler will now start disturbing me. So that one, I just slept during the day when my toddler was doing something, when I didn't have anything to do. The first trimester, I feel like for myself, I hardly sleep at night, and then during the day I feel so sloppy and I get some sleep. So that's how I was able to deal with it. So after my first child, it was I couldn't cope. You
Hmm.
know this,
It's a
it's
struggle.
a struggle. Like um I couldn't cope until I started having more family members come around to help me. And after we now decided to get a nanny, because before, when you just have your child, you're like very protective of them and you feel
Absolutely.
like you don't need any help. They play.
They play.
So,
You could do with a lot of help, and it goes a long way.
yeah, so I was able to get a little bit of sleep when I started opening up for people to help me with a child, and also when I got a nanny for the child.
So, Mama, if you're watching this and you don't feel comfortable at the early stages, it's all right until you feel comfortable. And don't ever feel like you're pressured, because we know everybody wants to help, and it's a blessing to have help. But you need to feel comfortable because your child is still little, still sensitive, and you need that sleep. Yes. What are your fond memories of being a first time mom? I know there are a lot of memories.
There are lots of water, so you're asking maybe for a couple, like
Yeah, maybe one or two.
okay.
Yeah.
The first one I remembered was when I had just had a baby in the hospital, whenever I heard any baby cry from the nursery, I always feel like it's my child. So like I'm
Oh.
like, bring. Let me even make you laugh. So every time the baby cries, that's one of my favorite fun memories. Like I
Okay.
always want to reach for him and like hold him when he cries. So I didn't know that. I didn't know I was just going to be me and my head when I get home. That I won't be able to rest.
Oh dear.
That let him cry. I'll have a lot of it when I go. So I was always calling the nurses to bring
And
my
they will
baby.
bring the baby for you.
If I knew, I would have just let them take care of him at that time.
So that you
Like
can
I
chill
said,
it.
when I got home, like this, that cry, he showed me that it's
Oh
me and
dear.
him. I was like, and then at that time, we don't really know what to do.
Yes.
First time, mom, you're
Oh.
like confused. You're like, and the dad also, because they don't really have so much connection to the baby at that
Yeah.
moment, they don't know what to do also. So you have a guy like my husband, you tell you pick him up, bouncing around. I'm like, why don't you do it?
Moms, you're not alone. I know there is a mom watching this who can relate to this. So let me give you guys inside gist. When Rachel just had her child, in fact, I think I was at some teachers training, and I was like, don't worry, when I come back, I will babysit. And I think I also started saying this whole babysitting to her before she had her baby. Guess what? Pikin don't come now. Me, I dey sleep. I was snoring. I did not hear one cry. I literally passed out. And I'm like, did you leave me at night? And Rachel was like, you were sleep. She said it in Yoruba. She no jokes. Like, there's no way you can respond to that in English. She just said it in Yoruba. Like,
The other ones are first when my husband also started getting involved with the baby, because at
Sorry.
3 months he was able to understand how to carry him, how to play with him.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just this tiny creature that he feels like his whole fist can break his head because his head was developing and body parts had developed. So that when my husband started helping her more made me like so happy. It became like a family
Yeah.
business. And then when we all started going to the swimming pool together, and then we will take turns in playing with him in the water. So it's those are the memories that first three.
That's great. That's great. Because it takes a while to adjust to your new reality, And the moment you just get in that zone, you're like, oh, finally, I have clicked, and this is great.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite thing about motherhood? Like people talk about all the great stuff. I feel like there are least favorite things for some mothers.
breastfeeding.
How so?
Breastfeeding. My like this is my second pregnancy. I don't know how it's going to be for me this time, but it was horrible for me the first time. I for my son to even suck out of my breast was a very uncomfortable experience. I have an inverted nipple, so I in the hospital when the nurses were getting my nipples ready, they had to extract it with a syringe.
Wow.
They asked me to continually pull it out so that my son can suck. And even after we were able to manage to get my son sucked, I wasn't producing a lot of milk. And aside from that, my son was also sucking so much my nipple would crack and bleed, and he would still have to feed. So don't get me wrong, breastfeeding is like very awesome. That's the way newborn baby and mom bonds. You understand? But for the first time, breastfeeding wasn't a nice experience for me, and I feel like that answers your question.
Right. I agree. I agree to that.
I hope that this next time will be better because
I hope so too.
I'm willing to do that more. But if it's not, I would not go through that discomfort the
Right.
second time.
Okay. Okay. How has motherhood changed you personally? I know you just talked about your breastfeeding experience, you've talked about exercise, being a mom, but how has that changed you personally?
So motherhood has changed me personally because it's made me more patient, more 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 um, more what's it called? You get more feelings. You get more emotional. Um, you get to also think about your decisions properly before you do it and see how it's going to affect your child and your family first. So it just, motherhood has just made me more wiser, more patient and kinder, and also made me more friendly and less like I would change it for you, So
Right.
I feel like I'm more relaxed now and I'm more also family oriented now.
Right. That's great.
Thank you.
Because for some people watching this, I believe that it will go a great it's a great thing to hear, to watch, hear other people's experiences.
Natalia,
Yes, that's Natalia. My child is crying.
she doesn't really cry like Samson, so when she cries, I'm like, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong?
I'm talking about motherhood changing you, you being patient and kinder.
Yeah.
I think a lot of moms experience it as well. Just being patient, because sometimes I'm looking at my child and I'm like, ah, if to say you've been grown up like this,
Yeah.
I could just ignore you.
Yeah, you just, or like, don't you have sense?
Like, why are you stressing me? I want
My
to
own
chill.
is like, don't you have, but like, and then I answer myself, his sense is not that developed. It's not even developed yet.
Yeah.
So you that you're asking don't you have, do you have sense?
Like, you have to meet that child
Yeah.
at his or her own level.
Yeah.
That's I think the best way for me to interpret that is like when somebody says that the childlike mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a lot of
You have to
grace.
bring your brain down to
Yes.
that level.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes. What are your joys of motherhood?
Joys of work. I think okay. Was it different from the question you initially asked? You asked the question, what are the priceless moments?
Your fond memories.
Oh, okay. Okay, joy of motherhood. Okay, my joy of motherhood is generally being a mother. Like No, I feel like let me rephrase that is accepting, that you are now a mother.
Mm.
Do you understand? Like, it takes a lot of people to really readjust to the mom title or a mother title. So the joy of motherhood for me is that I finally arrived to accepting that I'm no more a girl or a young lady. I'm a mom, and this is my life now. So, like, that's the joy. I'm sorry, I'm on a different level.
True. Yeah. True.
Because that's how you feel like. So, for some people, I'm sorry, I've seen a couple of arguments on social media, and even one lady interviewed another older woman, and she was telling her how comfortable she is, not married or not having kids yet, and that's her joy, and she's proud of it, and she's having a good life. I support her motion, you know. And I don't support the other woman's version by saying you're not happy. You understand? So there's that, knowing that you don't want to be a mother, you don't want to be a wife, and you're happy with your life.
Yes.
That's one joy. But my own personal joy is that I know that I'm a mother now. It's dawned on me. It dawned on me. I'm like, oh, but like accepting it and actually functioning in that role of being a mother, it's the joy for me.
Amazing. Amazing. What advice would you give to a new mom?
Well, like just like any other thing in life, in fitness, they say it takes consistency and discipline to continue. So my advice to a new mom is that just stay strong, do your best, and everything will work very well for you. Keep a positive mind because you can't compare yourself with other moms. You can't compare your financial status with other moms. You can't compare the type of family you have with other moms or other people. But when you stay true to yourself, stay positive, and give in your best, it will work out for you at the end. So that's my advice for a new mom. At first, it might be tiring, it might be, but when you be you and do you, things will work out.
Thank you very much for honoring this invitation.
Thank you so much for
It's
having
been
me.
great.
I didn't realize
chatting
I
with
like
you.
talking like this. In my mind, I was like, oh, what am I going to say when I'm not going through all these questions? Like, thank you so much for sharing your time with me and opening your YouTube channel.
Thank
You
you.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you've learned something. And because we did, I personally did enjoy myself. And I will see you in the next one. Remember, kindness is never enough. Put a smile on someone's face.